Hello everybody, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Very excited out in the garden today. I have a bunch of white sage that I have recently received, and it's funny, last year had so much trouble finding the white sage. Like, I had to order it from Washington, and then I went to order it again this year because it didn't winter well. I didn't put enough mulch on it, and but anyways, so when I went to order it, they were out. They were like, we're growing more for next year, but we don't have any more for this year. Sorry, So I searched and searched and searched and searched, and I could not find any, and I'd actually given up, and I had planted pineapple sage and artichoke where I normally plant my white sage, where I had planned to plant my white sage. And now my pineapple sage is thriving, but I found a seed company that sells good seeds. And they had some white sage seeds. And then I also, after I'd ordered them and I just received them, we're going to open the package. My favorite garden store actually had some, which I just thought was hilarious because I've been asking for 2 years. And now this late in the season and all of that stuff, I was like, oh my goodness, I bought a bunch. So if you're looking and you're in the Colorado northern central area, Front Range area, the Flower Bin in Longmont has white sage right now. So first, let's open our package. So this is from Plant Good Seeds, and I did some research on the company. They have a great guy in charge over there. He has, the pictures just show how much he loves his plants. They do organic. He collects them. This is pretty awesome. So, and to have it shipped to me, it was only $8, and for organic seeds that are really what you're looking for, that's not bad. I pay $6 for them locally, and this came in the mail, so that included shipping. So as you can see, there it is. I will try to find, well, I bought them on Amazon, through Amazon. I guess he works with Amazon. So you can go through there. So when you're buying white sage seeds, it's very important that you're buying Salvia apiana. So it's A-P-I-A-N-A, and that's going to be your real, true, traditional white sage. There are other sages that you can get, but if they don't say that on them, if it doesn't give a scientific name, I would not buy them. So it's probably backwards for you guys. I don't know why it works out that way. Anyway, so Plant Good Seeds. This is a good company. They're located outside of California, or out of California, and so far so good. We're going to plant them, and I'm going to see how well they go. So, then my sage that I got from the store is here, and it also on there, I don't have a stick that says it, but it also, they have 2 different kinds of sticks. So they have this one, just says the white sage, but the other one I should have grabbed does say the correct scientific name. So this, I got really lucky, if you can see. So if you're ever at the garden store, look at all the different plants. This one actually came with 4 plants in it that I'll be able to separate out. They're young enough. You just get it really good and wet so that the soil's real moist and just kind of flakes away from the roots. Separate them out and then replant them. And actually I think I see a little tiny baby sprouting down in there. Look at that, there's actually 5 in there. What a magical plant. So these ones, since they're so young, I'm actually going to transplant and put into pots. And I'm going to grow these over the winter inside, just in case the other ones that I got don't winter well. But I wanted to show these ones specifically so that you can see. You see a lot of questions when people are planting white sage on what they look like when they're first coming up. So if you can see, these leaves on the fresh, newer ones where my fingers are pretty green. They don't yet have that sage green look to it, but they do have this shape, the same really long, more tender, skinnier leaves to them. And then as they get a little bit bigger, they start to get, I don't know if the camera can see it. Let's see if we can get a better light. So they start to get more of this silvery look to them, And white sage leaves have a very unique feeling. I would almost equate it to like a leather feeling, whereas the other sage has more of a furry leaf. So if we take a look right here, I've got my wide leaf sage. Now, wide leaf sage is a traditional salvia, the original one. It's just been genetically chosen through seed to be wider. So these leaves are really wide, but if you look at them, they're like fuzzy. They have a fuzzy feel to them. They have like little tiny hairs on them. The new leaves are really fuzzy. Oh, there is a grasshopper on my phone. Stupid grasshoppers. But the new leaves are really, really fuzzy. So if we go look at this white sage, it doesn't have the same fuzziness to the leaves, and it has more of a leathery feel to it. And even like the little baby leaves have a very like, it's not the same as like your kitchen sage. So that's another way that you can tell when you've gotten a true sage and not the kitchen sage. So I do have the traditional kitchen sage right here. Let's see. And you can tell like the leaves are just different. They have like this furry, even the new leaves, like they're just different. You can definitely tell the differences. And once it starts to grow, if the new leaves have this really fuzz, I mean, it really does. It feels like a short-haired, like when you have a dog where you buzz cut them and they're starting to grow back their fur, it almost has that feeling, whereas the white sage just kind of has a leathery feeling. So the reason white sage is so important is because it's something that's been used by, all sage has always been used like this, but white sage is used in the Americas by the Native Americans. It's used for rituals and cleansing and purifying and connecting with the divine, and it just has this great purifying energy to it. And there are so many different uses, but the white sage, the smell, when you rub the leaves and you really smell it, has a much cleaner, less barn smell. Honestly, I feel like the further away you get from the white sage into the different genuses of sage, the more they smell like a barn. So like my Russian sage that you can see in the background here, which is beautiful, and the flowers are awesome. The flowers make a really good dried powder incense, which I prefer above the leaves, but it does have a very earthy barn smell almost. The white sage, on the other hand, has a very clean smell. And I guess the lighter the color of the leaf almost, the more clean that smell is. But really, I like all of them. Just depends on how earthy you want your sage smell to be. So if you have any other questions about growing, one last thing. When you're growing sage grows native to like dry highland areas that don't get a lot of moisture in the soil or love in the soil. So if you put your sage in something that's too moisture rich, too much fertilizer, too much compost, it's not going to do well. If you put it somewhere where it's going to get too much water, I think part of the reason my sages didn't survive where they were, I had them pretty far down the line. And I recently found out my neighbors flood irrigate their backyard. So that part of my yard actually stays pretty moist. So it's been good for my blueberries. Not so good for my sage, which realistically doesn't want to be watered that often. Yeah, so it's a pretty easy plant once it gets established. Don't overwater it, don't overfeed it, love it, and prune it. So I have my wide leaf sage, which I'll show you again. This has been, let's see, where's the camera? Okay, so this has been thoroughly pruned. And it's big. You see how pretty that is? The leaves are big. It's coming in really nice. I don't know. There we go. You guys can see. So then, if we flip around here, this one is getting overwatered, and I have not pruned. And see how short and sad it is? I need to come out here and prune so that way it comes back to life. But that's that purple sage. So the new leaves on this one are purple. They're just really pretty. If you see that, I just love the purple. They're so pretty. But again, so this is the same genus of scientific plant as the broadleaf and the tricolor and the traditional kitchen sage. These all have the same scientific name. They've just been genetically bred by picking the color. The golden sage is different. The golden sage is actually a ground cover. It has a different scientific name, which I can't remember right this second. But it is a ground cover and it doesn't grow very tall. So if you're looking for a shorter sage, that's a really good one. The rest of the sages are going to get really big and bushy eventually. And they're a woody perennial. So they'll come back in most places and thrive and be happy. But like I said, they don't like too much water or all that stuff. So again, if you have any questions, just let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that great hot jazz. And I know I said I would talk more about the holiday, so tomorrow I'll talk more about the holiday. And I'll see if on Sunday I can get my Kevin to make a video with me and we can all talk about the holiday. I don't know if I can get the rest of them on camera. We'll see. So I hope everybody has a great day. We will talk to you again soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that hot jazz. And if you have any questions about sage or growing sage or clarifications on your sage, just let me know. And I will talk to you soon.